Ahead of the Varaha cave temple, we have an incomplete temple gateway tower called the Roya Gopuram. Had it been completed, this would have dominated the skyline of Mahabalipuram. This was not built by the Pallavas, in fact, it was built long after the Pallava rule, probably made in the 15th 16th century by the Vijayanagara dynasty. If you draw an imaginary straight line from the gateway, it will pass through the Stalasayana Vishnu temple and reach the shore temple. Some trees and rocks are intertwined here, which looks very poetic and beautiful. From Roya Gopuram, when you walk towards the lighthouse, you will come across another cave called the Ramanuja Mandapa. This was a triple-celled cave temple dedicated to Shiva, but it now appears to be desecrated, probably during the Vijayanagara period, by Vaishnavite sectarians, basically worshippers of Vishnu. All the carvings from this temple are chiseled away, and hence you can't make out much from the panels. In the center, we had the Somaskanda panel. Opposite the Ramanuja Mandapa, you have two museums, Lighthouse Museum and Maritime Museum. Both the museums are fully air conditioned and gives a good relay from the sun outside. Lighthouse Museum contains a lot of historical items used in the Mahabalipuram lighthouse. It also houses the actual lights used in the lighthouse. The entry fee is 20 rupees for an adult to visit both the museums. The Maritime Museum contains miniature models of ancient ships and the first ships that came to the coast of Mahabalipuram for trade. You can also see the evolution of anchors and other shipping items. This also has the miniature model of the famed Titanic amongst other well-known ships. The Portuguese map of ancient India can be seen while you enter this museum. Ahead of the museum, you have the lighthouse, which is almost 120 years old. By paying 10 rupees, you can go to the top of the lighthouse and get a panoramic view of Mahabalipuram. Close to the lighthouse, you have the Mahishamardini cave temple, which is carved inside a huge rock. This is a famous temple, but is a little easy to miss as it is on one end of the first group. So if you come from here, it will lie in the far end and there is a chance you may miss it. But if you come from here, which is the second entrance, this temple will be the first thing you will see. As you enter the temple, to the left you will see the reclining Vishnu panel. In this, Vishnu is depicted as reclining on the eternal coils of Ananta, the king of serpents. He has a 5-headed hood forming a protective canopy over his lord's head. This panel seems to be incomplete as we don't see Brahma. Now, two things. One, when this panel was created, it was all painted up and maybe Brahma was painted in this panel. But now over the centuries, the paint has faded away and we can't see Brahma. Second, why is Brahma important for this panel? Now, in Hinduism, cosmic dissolution or Mahapralaya takes place periodically when the universe goes beyond redemption. After the dissolution, there is stillness, and this is when Vishnu reclines on the eternal coils of Ananta and goes to cosmic sleep, which is called as Yoga Nidra. And during this time, Brahma comes out of the navel of Vishnu, seated on a lotus, to start the creation of a new cosmos. Two demons are born out of the ears of Vishnu, Madhu and Kaitabha, and they charge towards Brahma to destroy the creation process. Brahma requests the goddess of sleep, Yoga Nidra, to leave Vishnu so that he can be awake and save Brahma from the two demons. So she left his eyes and Vishnu killed the demons. The figures standing near the feet of Vishnu are those two demons. The two figures above Vishnu are the anthropomorphic forms of his weapons. The little fat male is conch shell and the female besides him is Vishnu's mace. Below Vishnu on the left is the anthropomorphic form of his weapon, the discus, Sudarshan. Next to Sudarshan is another anthropomorphic form. This one is representing the lotus. And kneeling at Vishnu's feet is his consort, the goddess Earth. Opposite this panel, we have the Mahishamardini panel, which depicts the battle between goddess Durga and the buffalo demon Mahisha. So the story behind this is that Mahishasura, a king with the head of a buffalo, was staunch worshipper of Brahma. After 1,000 years of his penance, Brahma was finally pleased and gave him a wish. Mahishasura demanded that he should not be killed by any man or animal. Brahma had to grant the wish and told him that a woman will be the end of him. Mahishasura went about defeating all the gods and eventually became the king of heaven. The gods then went to Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva for help. But the Trimurtis were helpless. However, the combined anger arising out of the helplessness were transformed into an intense and overpowering light, which took the form of goddess Durga. The gods gave her weapons to defeat Mahishasura, and Durga battled Mahishasura and his men for 9 days. Finally, by the end of the ninth day, she killed the demon, and that's the reason we have the Durga Puja during the Navratri celebrations. In the panel, you can see 8 Ganas with Durga battling Mahishasura and his men. He has a big club in his hand, and Durga is seen sending an arrow towards him. There are 3 hollow spaces excavated into the back wall. Initially, the plan was to dedicate the central space to Vishnu, and on its left for Shiva and right to Brahma. That's because the early Pallavas worshipped Vishnu mainly till the 7th century, and then later on they mainly worshipped Shiva. Now if you look at the central space, you will see the Somaskanda panel, which was carved in the end of 7th century, dedicated to Shiva. On this panel, you can see Shiva sitting with his consort Uma and their son Skanda or Murugan, with their legs resting on Nandi. Behind the throne, you can also see Brahma and Vishnu. Somaskanda basically means with Uma and Skanda, and is one of the most common forms found only in South India. So that's about the Mahishasura Mardini cave temple, one of the important yet incomplete temples here. Next is Olakkaneswara temple. This is directly above the Mahishasura Mardini temple and at a very good height. You can get a panoramic view of the town from here and can also see the shore temple along with the Mahabalipuram beach. The top part of the temple is missing, and what remains now is only the bottom level. Till the 19th century, this was used as a lighthouse, and after that, the new lighthouse was built just across in the year 1904. After visiting this temple, we exited the complex and started walking back to the ticket counter area near where we had parked the car. On the way, we saw the miniature version of the Descent of the Ganges bas-relief. More about that later. As you walk ahead, you will see the Krishna Mandapa. This carving on the rock depicts Lord Krishna lifting up the Govardhan hill as an umbrella to protect the people and the cattle from the village called Braj. So what happened was that the people of Braj used to do puja and yagna once in a year for Lord Indra so that he is pleased with them and provides them with rain. Krishna debated with the villagers about this practice. He said that they should do their duty diligently and not pray or conduct sacrifices for natural phenomena. The villagers were convinced and they didn't proceed with the special puja. On seeing this, Indra decided to punish the village by sending Samvartaka cloud to cause extensive floods that would destroy the village. All the villagers approached Krishna for shelter, and he lifted the Govardhan hill and held it up like an umbrella to protect the village. For 7 days they remained beneath the hill, after which Indra called back the clouds. This is Krishna lifting up the hill. To the left, the tall figure you see is Balrama, Krishna's elder half-brother, who has his left hand on the shoulder of an old man, Nanda, the village chief, who is the adoptive father of Krishna. To the left of Balrama, various village activities are shown. A cowherd is milking a cow while she is licking a calf, and above the cow, another cowherd is playing a flute. All the cows are enchanted by the sound, and so is a baby in the woman's hand, but she is irritated as she is trying to feed the baby. Further left, you can see a couple dancing and all the cows are looking at them. To the extreme left, you can see some strange creatures. At the other end of the panel, you can see a statue of a bull resting on a rock. It may seem like a whole statue in itself, but it's actually connected to the panel. I have no idea how they used to sculpt so beautifully. It's actually mind-boggling if you observe the details and the perfection of the bull. Besides the Krishna Mandapa, you can see the Panchapandava Mandapa, which is undergoing some maintenance work, and hence we couldn't enter.